three clear messages of the Illuminati. Extermination of the white race. There is a shadow world government. And they are the Illuminati. But the Illuminati is more of a cover name. In reality, they are the Hasidic rabbis. And they control all the most important politicians. And they also control the music industry, entertainment industry, Hollywood. That's why you see them making all these signs. They're like the pyramid and the all-seeing eye. The V for the fifth age of Satan. That's why you see them making all these signs. And they spread this symbolism also with politicians, not only with artists and so. And it symbolizes Satan or Ra, the sun god. That's what you see here. And Eminem is also a Satanist, Illuminati controlled by the Hasidic rabbis, and he even makes his own jewelry with this symbolism. How low can you go? And some nuclear institution, they also use the pyramid to signal that they control it. That's not a nice thought. Lady Gaga used it at Hollywood, very clear triangles. And they work with the Kabbalah. It says take over the world, they're working on that, and if you share your evil plans with others, even when they don't understand it, your karma is lifted. And this is why they give us hidden messages, half hidden messages, but very clear messages actually. Like for example Leonard Cohen, he made the song, I think 1988, first we take Manhattan, then we take Berlin, he made the farewell sign to the Twin Towers. And the nerds always go, there is no written confession, that's why it's not true. But there is a confession, because a journalist asked him, what is the song about? And he answered, it's a terrorist song. So there you have your confession, you have at least one. And in They Live, they explain the protocols of Zion. That's how countries are taken over and later the world. You're brainwashed. You have to conform, buy, submit, consume, watch TV. This is in the movie They Live. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. And 9/11 was in a Simpsons episode before it happened. Homer versus New York, 9/11. It's in the dollar. It actually is in one edition of the dollar. They put it in. Look it up. So I tell you this to prove it's a proven principle. It's not something that I thought up or grabbed out of the air. It's a proven principle, so we can apply it to other movies, songs, series. Well, you have Futurama. There's not really so much in there. However, they made a movie and it was produced by Seth MacFarlane. And you know him from Family Guy. He produces that too. And in Family Guy, they announced the murder of Robin Williams, for example. They pretended it was suicide, but it's too much of a coincidence, all these things surrounding his death. It's impossible that it was really a suicide. And he was a Satanist. And he worked for them, but it doesn't mean they liked him. They don't like traitors. Of course not. So we're going to take a look at this movie Futurama. First take a look at some things that are actually true. We know they're true. No one ever suspected that they really did stage the moon landing, he says. And that's actually true, because there's a lot wrong with the moon landing, too much. The spacesuits had no protection against radiation, for example. There's so much radiation in space. There was no blast crater. Neil Armstrong could even control this shuttle on Earth that he had to land on the moon. He crashed it. He was very good at crashing it. And he was also good at flashing his Freemason stuff. Because this was a psychological exercise to stage a big event that's obviously fake, there's too much wrong, and to see how the American public would react, and then they could learn from it for 9/11. That was what it really was about. And Buzz Aldrin, astronaut actor, Buzz Aldrin, 33-degree Freemason. Here he is with some Scottish Freemason lodge, with a Masonic Grand Commander. It's all fake. They set the whole thing up. And there's 100% proof. Japan recently sent a rocket to orbit the moon, took pictures of the landing place. What was on the pictures? Nothing. And what is on the fake pictures of NASA? Some stupid things made with a mouse, like the footstep of a drunken sailor on the moon. But in reality, there is nothing. You cannot go to the moon. Even now, we cannot go to the moon. It's impossible. It's too much radiation. You cannot travel through space without incredible protection, like walls 3 meters thick or so. Otherwise, it's impossible. And Penn Jillette is also in this Futurama movie.
I'm the massive head of Penn Jillette, and here with the color commentary, my partner Teller. Our actor didn't change much when he died.
It's no coincidence, he's also a Freemason. And here you see him doing some crazy Jesus ritual on stage, and here he makes the V sign for the 5th age of Satan, the devil horns, and the V sign. He is a Freemason. So there are already 2 things in this movie that are true. And they talk about the secret societies.
The Great Hall of the Ancient Legion of Mad Fellows.
Remember that he says the ancient legion of mad fellows.
Welcome, bro. Sorry.
And this 9 is, of course, when you turn it around, the 6 of Satan.
I bashed your head in, buddy, but I had to. See, the fate of the universe depends on you.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Grand Curator.
The Grand Curator, that's him, the leader, he will explain it. So he's talking about mad fellows and the Grand Curator in the secret society. You think, but it's real. This is a book of the Odd Fellows. And they were talking about the movie about the Mad Fellows. And they're talking about the lodges, the degrees of lodges, the Grand Lodge of the United States, and the Grand Master. And he was talking about the Grand Curator. So they got it out of real life. This is real. It's not made up. And the pyramid that all these famous artists make, it comes back because it's a symbol of Satan. And the snake is a symbol of Satan. The beehive is used with the Mormons a lot. The lamp that was used with the moon landing to put it in. And the 2 pyramids from Isis Rahel, the real name of Israel. The Odd Fellows. And here is again the pyramid and the all-seeing eye and the dog star Sirius in the back. So I'm telling you this because you see things in this movie that you seem like, is it real? Is it true? Yeah, it is true. The Odd Fellows, the Mad Fellows, it's true. So we come to a fragment that is very disturbing, and it's the warning.
We call these noble beings encyclopods because their DNA incorporates the DNA of every endangered species.
They incorporate the DNA of every endangered species. Remember that. They encounter. If they encounter an endangered species, they take their DNA.
So they can recreate them if they go extinct.
If they go extinct, they can recreate them. That's what's in this movie.
Great. I shall preserve the DNA of Homo sapiens.
I shall preserve the DNA of Homo sapiens.
I thought you only saved the DNA of endangered species.
He says, I thought you only saved the DNA of endangered species. But it means we are endangered. The human race, the white race, is endangered. They're saying it in this movie, and I take it serious because all these other things with the moon landing, Penn Jillette, the secret societies, it's also true.
Farewell.
And he says farewell. That's not a good sign.
I guess he didn't hear me.
I guess he didn't hear me, but he did hear him. Why do I take it serious? Because they give these messages to us to unburden their karma. We have to take it very serious. They did it before with 9/11. Secret societies, Bush carrier in it, Skull and Bones. And you have the Hasidic rabbis, they control the Freemasons, so also Skull and Bones and the Odd Fellows. You have the Zionist producers, of, for example, of this movie. And they give real warnings to unburden karma. Very simple. It's not difficult. And you have John Carter. This is like the most important movie with They Live. It's about a guy and he can travel to Mars. It's called Barsoom. And there he fights to save the planet. And I will just show you a fragment.
Barsoom, a world on the brink. There's a day that new power threatens to destroy our city of helium. And if helium falls, so does Barsoom.
She's saying if helium falls, so does Barsoom. This is a metaphor for Earth. America is helium. And America is invested with Zionist Jews and Freemasons. And if America falls, the world falls. Before I knew all this stuff, I've said it already. Because I just felt it was true. If America falls, the world falls. And they signal that. And there's some balance of power between the good side and the evil side. But then the evil side, they get a weapon. And this weapon is also a metaphor for our nuclear bombs.
The eastern border is a wasteland. Southern is burned through our defenses. The border folk be massacred. Our best troops, fleetest ships, are proven less than useless.
Look what a weapon. It is like, and it's gone. It's a super weapon. You can compare it to the nuclear bombs. Of course you can. And that's the whole point probably. Then John Carter, it's a reference to Jesus Christ, of course. He's captured by the ones that control the planet behind the scenes. And you've seen the pictures of the Hasidic rabbis. And they start talking. And this is like the most important fragment of a movie you will ever see. Because it's probably about us. And this is the evil one, or the Hasidic rabbi, the shapeshifter. Because the shape will change. Look.
Do you care just as much as I do? You have no obligation to these people. You don't have a dog in this fight. Somehow you enslaved them for tyranny. Now you're not a corpse.
So what is your cause? We have none. We're not haunted by mortality, as you are. We are eternal. I don't understand. The wedding, this little straw. Why not just kill me and kill Deja? History will follow the course we have set, Earthman. And we've chosen Santan to rule next. The ninth ray must remain in the hands of mindless brutes we can control. And the infamy of Deja Thoris's wedding death will seal his reign. We've been playing this game since before the birth of this planet, and will continue to do so long after the death of yours. We don't cause the destruction of a world, Captain Carter. We simply manage it. Feed off it, if you like. On every host planet, it always plays out exactly the same way. Populations rise, societies divide, wars spread. All the while, the neglected planet slowly fades.
So he's explaining, this guy, that they have been doing this. He's explaining that they have been doing this for like 1 million years or so. That they traveled through the multiverse through space, and they go from planet to planet, and they control the politicians behind the scenes, and they set one part of a planet up against the other part, and they start fighting and destroying each other, and then they introduce some super weapon, then it gets out of hand and the whole planet gets destroyed. That's what he's explaining. That's exactly what's happening on Earth today. Like 100%. Not like 90 or 95 or 10, 20, 70, 100%. It's incredible. It cannot be a coincidence. This is the truth about our life on Earth. And then they explain like how we can save ourselves, and this was also in the song from David Bowie and Queen, Under Pressure. That only action can save us. We sat on the fence, but it don't work. You cannot. If you do nothing, they will continue. That's what it says in this song from David Bowie and Queen. And that we can only survive together. Why don't we give love that one more chance? They sing in the song. If we don't do these two things, then it will. They sing, this is our last dance, under pressure. So we are in incredible danger now, and World War III is quickly approaching, and then the whole planet will be destroyed. That's what they're saying. And the strange thing is that at the end, they have some titles, and they have all these wires that symbolize that everything is connected, like a detective or so. You connect all the things on the board. But then all of a sudden they come with this, a building from the Mayas. That's strange. And the Egyptians. The symbolism that spread everywhere in our societies. So what they're saying, I don't know exactly, but what they're implying certainly is that they also control the Egyptians and the Mayans. It's incredible that they totally control our world and they're going to destroy it. And the Hasidic rabbis in the movies confirmed that they were the priesthood behind the pharaohs. It's on the Rosetta Stone. And the Mayans, they also had pyramids and a priesthood. A priesthood that was very violent and offered all these people. And in the Kabbalah it says the life force of people is in their blood. And the Hasidic rabbis, they drink blood. So what do you want more? It's all explained. We have been taken over by some alien force, some aliens that have been doing this for a long time. It's clear, because it's all happening like explained in this movie. They control all our politicians, just like they said in the movie. We control all these simple brutes, these retards, these idiots. We control them and we have them make war against each other. And that's what they're doing. Russia and America are set up for a nuclear war. And they're all Freemasons. So it's exactly happening like in this movie. And Truman threw the atomic bombs. And he was a Freemason, all-seeing eye, all these Grand Lodge things, just like Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong had. Symbolism is everywhere, from Egypt, and here they are. And there are more similarities. Now you know why Obama looks like Pharaoh Ramses. But you have Mars, and there's a rock orbiting it, something like our moon. With us there's a moon, and with Mars there's some sort of big rock. It's called Phobos, and this Phobos, it has a triangle on it, and apparently the moon, according to Richard Hoagland, also has a triangle on it at the point where it's closest to Earth, at the Yakut crater. So that is a similarity between these two rocks that orbit Mars, Barsoom in the movie, and Earth. But they also both have a monolith on it. Phobos has a monolith, it's photographed, and the moon apparently also has a monolith. And there was this guy, Douglas Sharpless, of a Lowell Observatory in Arizona, and he studied Phobos, and he said that he thought it was artificial. And this was confirmed by Carl Sagan, who also wrote in a book, Phobos might not be natural. So there is a lot going on. And he made this series Cosmos, of course. And who is the producer of Cosmos? Seth MacFarlane, the same producer as from this movie Futurama. So it's like a rat's nest with all these insiders and Freemasons and Zionists and producers and all these together, and they put out all this stuff all the time, and they control us. And Set is the name of some Egyptian god, probably no coincidence. It's really scary, people. And on Mars there are pyramids. This is a picture of a pyramid on Mars. But it looks so good. It's not some rock formation or so. This is a man-made, alien-made, artificially made pyramid. And this also. This looks like the one of the Egyptians, and this looks like one of the Mayans. On Mars. And you have more. You can maybe say of this one, like, no, maybe it's naturally formed. Yeah, maybe it's even true. But this one, not. It's certainly artificial. And the other ones, they were certainly artificial. On Earth, yeah, we also have pyramids. But there are more things on Mars, constructions that look like things on Earth. They don't have to look exactly like it, of course, but they look artificial, some of them. Like this, it looks artificial. And this is Earth, and this is something on Mars. It looks really artificial. And this is in Japan, and this is on Mars. Well, this looks really artificial. Of course. So, in conclusion, Barsoom, Mars and Earth. The leaders are controlled by priesthood, secret societies that aid their plans. Pyramids, structures, cities, satellite with a monolith in a triangle, Phobos and Mars Barsoom, and the moon with us, a destructive weapon in the movie and with us in real life, nuclear bombs, a Freemason that introduced the atomic bombs into our lives. On Mars, the life force, or chai in Hebrew, is put out. All the life is taken away from Mars. There's no life left. And they explained in this movie that they wanted to do this to Mars, to Barsoom. They want to take all the life and that the planet dies. And we are next. You have coincidence and you have coincidence. And this is no coincidence. Now we come to the third one, an ex-commercial. It has similarities with The Wizard of Oz. And The Wizard of Oz is totally a Zionist production. They say, for example, first we were free people, then the wizard came out of the sky. So we were free and then the aliens came, you could say. We have to accept as aliens, it cannot be anything else. The Wizard of Oz is the Wizard of Zion. Of Oz you think of Zion. But Oz is also a measurement for gold, the ounce of gold. And in this movie they explain that the Emerald City, the Green City, is only green because the people wear green glasses and they walk on a golden path here. So you are tricked in believing that the greenback is money. It is not real money. That's the message of the movie. The only real money is gold. And they explain many more things in this movie. And they also say in this movie, I've got the world on a string. And in the Illuminati card game, we are on a string. We are the white race, the world, we are on a string. So many similarities. But they also say, in the Wizard of Oz, it's only a paper moon. Meaning there's something wrong with the moon. And that's what you can also distract from Mars and Earth. If you compare it, Phobos and the moon, they probably are both artificial. And they tell now they tell it in movies. In the past, they told it in things like that, like in The Wizard of Oz. It's only a paper moon, and there's so much in this Wizard of Oz that's explained. The witches that are killed, the good one and the evil one. And Gnals Barkley, he used the Wizard of Oz in his performances because they really liked this Wizard of Oz. And with Pink Floyd, they made the whole album The Dark Side of the Moon. And it has a lot of similarities with the Wizard of Oz. A lot of people found it out. Well, why not? The Hasidic rabbis, they controlled the Wizard of Oz in the past, and then they controlled Pink Floyd, the band. So, it's not strange that they make something like that. Alice in Wonderland, also things explained, but on a more higher level. That we don't live alone on Earth and there's nothing more. No, there are a lot of things more. And they call it Alice in Wonderland because she wonders all the time what the hell is going on. She doesn't know the world she lives in. And in the original Alice in Wonderland, the Cheshire Cat is the moon. Wow. There's a lot of things going on. And they use this little girl because she's innocent as a symbol for the white race. Because we are innocent, weak, naive. That's what they think of us. Well, it's true. And here is the commercial. Less is more. Well, it starts with the rappers from the 80s. Probably they had to change our culture for the worse. For the worst. And then we get to fashion. Because all the women are distracted with fashion. And all the men are distracted with money. And they're speculating on the stock market. Well, a lot are. And the stock market is going to crash. It's planned. And it also crashed in Russia during the Russian Revolution. And when the stock market crashes, well, we will all be desperate. The economy, the real economy, will also crash. That's the whole point. And these are all the bankers. They control us with the money, just like in The Wizard of Oz was explained. And here you see them in the back. Here you see them doing a high five because their plans worked. See them in the back, high fiving. But okay, we go through the bankers, and this is not a girl, it is a girl, but she's symbolic for the whole white race, for the women and the men. Because the women were distracted with fashion and the men with the stock market and the money. And she wonders, because she's in Wonderland, she doesn't know she's tricked. Because like, Our whole world is controlled by the Hasidic rabbis, and we are the puppets, and they play with us, and that's what they explain here. And she goes, what? What's going on? And here we have the Freemason symbolism from the black and the white. You have to make a choice between good and evil. And we have to make this choice every day with maybe 2 decisions or 1 decision a day. We have to think like, is this good what I'm going to do, or is it evil? And when do we in reality make these good evil choices? Like maybe once in our lifetime or never? So there will be consequences. And wonder, what's going on? And then this guy is coming. But in the back you can see the distraction of entertainment. Look, you see all these motorcycles flying around. That's symbolic for entertainment. We're distracted with sports and entertainment, just like it says in the Protocols of Zion. And then this guy is coming. But yeah, he's a guy, but he's symbolic for, well, who's he symbolic for? For Satan, of course. We, you, me, we are enticed by Satan. Like, do you want to sell your soul to the devil? That's what's symbolized here. And we go like, oh yeah, oh Satan, yeah, oh a good-looking man. But it's not really a man, it's Satan, and this is symbolic for the white race, for the men and the women, men and the women. Do we sell our soul to the devil? Yeah, we do. And then less is more. Ex-black. Empty streets. We have to be killed because we don't think about the choices between good and evil. And we don't think about wars, that we should not go to war. We should not kill innocent people. You don't think that this is just a coincidental advertisement just made like that without any thought put into it. I hope you're not that stupid. I show it again. Less is more. So you had 3 of these warnings. In Futurama, the DNA of Homo sapiens is taken by this big stingray. And you had this barsoom that's incredible, that's telling us what's happening on Earth. That behind the scenes the big leaders are controlled and the world war is set up to destroy the planet. And then this warning from the X commercial, less is more. I mean, these warnings, cannot be any clearer. You really have to change your way of thinking. Like, you're not in control, they are in control. And the media, the newspapers and TV, they're only giving you lies. And the truth is in these sort of things, like in this commercial. Watch it again. And in Barsoom, this movie, that's the truth. And in Futurama. But especially in Barsoom, of course.